Good evening, bonsoir. Bienvenue à la séance ordinaire publique du 6 octobre. Welcome to the regular public meeting on October 6th. Please rise for the national anthem. On va faire la reconnaissance territoriale. Nous reconnaissons avec respect l'emplacement de la ville de Bathurst en tant que terre ancestrale du peuple Micmac. Aujourd'hui, ces terres sont hôtes d'une population diverse, comprenant personnes natives du territoire et autres patries. Nous reconnaissons aussi avec respect l'histoire et les diverses cultures du peuple Micmac de la région. We respectfully acknowledge the city of Bathurst as the ancestral homeland of the Micmac. Today, these lands are home to a diverse population of Indigenous and other peoples. We also acknowledge with respect the diverse histories and cultures of the Micmac in this region. On va aller à l'approbation de l'ordre du jour, adoption of the agenda. Ms. Parker.
That the agenda be approved as presented.
Right, I'll need someone to move. Councillor Honda, seconded by Councillor Scarry. Ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carried. Ms. Parker, do we have any declaration of conflict of interest?
No conflicts of interest declared.
On va aller à l'approbation du procès verbal 4.1, séance ordinaire publique tenue le 11 septembre 2025. So, special public meeting held on September 11, 2025. Ms. Parker.
That the minutes of the special public meeting dated September 11, 2025 be approved as circulated.
All right, I need someone to move. Councillor Branch, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carried. 4.2, séance ordinaire publique tenue le 15 septembre 2025. Regular public meeting held on September 15, 2025. Ms. Parker.
That the minutes of the regular public meeting dated September 15, 2025 be approved as circulated.
All right, I'll need a mover. Councillor Willett, seconded by Councillor Branch. Go to the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carried. On a une présentation aujourd'hui, dont une collecte de fonds de l'Association professionnelle des pompiers de Bathurst, AIP 5283, par Monsieur Alexandre Galland. So we have a presentation from our Professional Bathurst Firefighter Association. Bonjour, Monsieur Galland. Bonjour. Ça va bien? Ça va bien. Vous avez le micro.
Oui. Premièrement, merci Madame la mairesse et le Conseil de m'accueillir ce soir. Mon nom est Alexandre Galland. Je suis pompier plein temps avec Bathurst depuis 2021. Je suis aussi le vice-président de l'Association des pompiers professionnels, une association qui représente environ 23 pompiers à Bathurst. Nous autres, les pompiers, cette année, le mois d'octobre, pour le IAFF, l'International Association of Firefighting, October is a Pink Awareness Month, so le mois pour l'awareness du cancer du sang. Puis souvent, quand on est pompier, on nous dit tout le temps que à tous les appels, every call, you help someone on their worst day. Puis this year, on a décidé qu'on ferait ça aussi en dehors de nos chiffres de travail. So, on a décidé de faire une collecte de fonds pour le cancer du sang. La façon qu'on a procédé, qui est un peu commune dans les IFF autour du monde, c'est avec une collecte de t-shirts qu'on vend $30. je vais être honnête, j'espérais venir ici et avoir beaucoup de restes à vendre pour faire de la publicité et ça. Mais sauf faire, la population nous a encore vraiment supporté. On est rendu à 155 sur 200 t-shirts de vendus, qui nous amène en une track pour une donation d'environ 5000. Ça, on est vraiment content du support de la population, surtout après une année busy comme ça. After a busy year like that, for us, it's really gratifying to see the community helping us like that. And I decided to come here in front of council to just show the word if anyone is interested in buying t-shirt. I have some with me. We also accept donation. I don't know what's the process for donation. We don't expect any donation, but so far people have been very, very kind to us, and all the money will go directly to the Bathurst Bathurst Hospital Foundation. I think I might have screwed up that name, but close enough. We all know where that is. And all the money is going to stay in the region for the victims, research, and patients. So it's been very good this year. It's our first year doing it, so we weren't sure about the size, but people have been very supporting of us so far, and we really appreciate it. So that's my big sales pitch. I'm a firefighter. I'm not a businessman at all. So.
Votre campagne finit quand pour la vente des t-shirts?
On espérait, comme on avait des plans d'aller à une game du Lightning, tout ça, c'était up une table. Mais dans la première semaine, on a vendu 150 t-shirts. So il m'en reste 50.
OK.
So je pense pas qu'on se rend jusqu'à la fin octobre. Mais notre donation va être faite vers la fin octobre pour la société.
OK. On a des questions.
Oui.
Conseiller Leblanc?
T'as pas mal posé ma question.
Excusez-moi.
À la vitesse que tu t'en débarrasses, c'est est-ce que vous avez le temps de vous en faire d'autres? Mais évidemment, si tu veux finir à fin octobre, ça regarde pas bien que tu vas avoir le temps d'imprimer d'autres. Ça m'aurait fait plaisir de n'acheter un direct tout de suite à part de ça, un t-shirt.
J'ai de small jusqu'à extra large. J'avais small jusqu'à 2XL, puis le 2XL a décollé quand même vite. So, j'ai small à extra large.
C'est pas mal dans
mais si j'ai assez de demandes, je vais aller voir mon fournisseur, puis on va s'arranger. Là, j'ai déjà pas mal de monde qui m'a demandé pour d'autres sizes. So.
L'autre question que j'avais pour toi, avez-vous d'autres façons de faire de l'argent à part que c'est juste ça puis les dons, c'est ça?
C'est comme je disais, nous autres, c'est la première année qu'on fait une actual levée de fonds. On avait fait November avant dans le département, mais cette année, on a décidé qu'on essayait d'être plus impliqué dans la communauté. Justement pour démontrer qu'on appréciait que la communauté nous supportait après les derniers incendies pis ça qu'on a eu quand même assez majeurs. On a vraiment senti le support de la communauté, puis on a décidé de donner back puis montrer que on est impliqué pas juste dans les appels d'urgence, mais aussi dans la vie de tous les jours de la communauté. So far, c'est notre seule levée de fonds qu'on plane pour octobre, mais on est en train d'essayer de regarder d'autres choses pour le futur.
En tout cas, je vous remercie beaucoup, puis vous pouvez être assuré que vous êtes apprécié dans la communauté et certainement, certainement autour de la table ici. Ça, je te l'assure. Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Deputy Mayor Knowles?
Oh,
Yep.
Thank
Had
you,
you
Madam
pressed
Mayor.
your button? Yeah. Okay.
I don't have a question because it's already been asked. Like Councillor LeBlanc said, I'll buy a T-shirt, a large, if you have one.
Large, I'll mark you down. I brought my assistants with me today, so she'll scooch to the bag and I'll get you a large for sure.
Thanks to you and the entire fire department for what you do every day. Thank you.
No, we appreciate that. We appreciate the support from council over the years and getting us all the equipment we need and the increase in staff every year. So we're very grateful about the council and the support they're showing to us. So thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Willett?
Thank you for your community involvement. I notice a lot more. I see you guys are a lot more visible on Facebook and everything else. So people know exactly what's going on, and we see the trucks traveling quite a bit more than what they used to. So thank you for everything you're doing for your community. And then I'll take one too. I'll take an extra large. I think my ego can fit in it. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Councillor Hondas?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Is that Councillor Knowles or Deputy Mayor Knowles? Was that like a challenge to council to buy a T-shirt, even though there's not the right size? Some of us are bigger than XL, but I'll buy an XL and I'll make sure somebody wears it. You don't have a sample by chance, eh?
Yes, I brought a bunch in the bag. I tried to grab the rest that we had.
Okay.
It really went fast. It was yesterday or 2 days ago. It was one after the other.
Can you maybe show one to us?
Yeah,
And,
sure. I'll grab
maybe
it.
the public will see. So, fellow councillors,
So,
you've been put on the clock.
this is a design we went and we were very fortunate. I approached Director Houdin at the start of the year, start of the month, and I asked him if we could wear those t-shirts on duty as part of our uniform because they're not technically issued. So we had to get the okay, and the director was totally on board. He actually bought one, so we really appreciate the support from him. So in front, we have our union logo, I guess, the IAFF logo, which is standard everywhere, but modified with the ribbon. And then in the back, we went with a little Maltese cross with the ribbon. So every member had bought one too to support, and we're all wearing them. So if you see us on calls or stuff, that's what we're wearing for this month. So if anyone was wondering why, well, that's why we were wearing these. So.
Okay. Well, I'm ready to buy 30 t-shirts. If you run out of t-shirts, we will donate $1,000. I have funds left in my budget, so it will be our donation. If you can get some extra large t-shirts, we'll take it. But we also do not want to take away from selling the t-shirts to the community. Donc, s'il y a des gens de la communauté qui veulent acheter des t-shirts, on va vous rester avoir les t-shirts. Si vous pouvez avoir des extra large, small, Madame Anderson. Sinon, on est prêt à vous donner un don de $1,000.
Wow. Non, oui, certainement, s'il y a vous pouvez me donner une liste des 16, puis s'il y a des 16 que je manque, j'en ferai certainement, ça prend pas longtemps. Puis on apprécie vraiment ça. Comme j'ai dit, on s'attend pas à des donations ou rien. Nous autres, on voulait juste vendre nos t-shirts, puis voir le monde porter nos t-shirts pour savoir que le monde nous supporte aussi. Puis surtout après une grosse année comme ceci, c'est fun à voir que la communauté, le conseil nous supporte, puis aussi qu'on est capable de redonner à la communauté, puis on le voit avec les messages, puis ça, on apprécie vraiment.
Vous faites vraiment un beau travail, honnêtement, surtout dans la dernière année, comme conseiller Ouellet a dit, on vous voit tellement dans la communauté, vous redonnez à la communauté, même avec les sans-abri, ils vont visiter les sans-abri, ils leur emportent des bouteilles d'eau. Bravo pour le beau travail que vous faites et cette initiative que vous faites là. Donc, on veut être joueur dans l'équipe, dont 30 t-shirts ou $1,000. Madame Parker pourrait probablement communiquer avec vous pour les grandeurs.
Okay.
Et on ira de là.
Okay. Je crois que tu as mon email. J'en ai un pour Carole aussi qui m'a dit de le donner à toi. So. Okay. Je suis préparé. Je vais le laisser Rexit, je pense que c'est celui-là. So.
Est-ce que tu vas nous présenter votre championne que vous avez avec vous?
Oui, Ashley, parce qu'à 18 ans, je donne jamais de crédit, mais ma copine Janica qui aussi m'aide à écrire les posts Facebook, parce que des fois, je suis pas exactement le meilleur à écrire, mais elle m'aide beaucoup avec ça. Puis la petite Charlie qui a vendu une coupe de t-shirts dans son école avec les Smalls. So. Je suis choyé d'avoir cette équipe-là qui nous supporte aussi. So.
Bravo, Charlie. Continue le beau travail. Elle va suivre les footsteps de son père. Merci beaucoup et puis continue le beau travail.
Merci à vous autres.
Merci.
Merci.
Bon. OK. On s'en va sur les finances. 7.1, résolution visant à modifier l'approbation des comptes fournisseurs du 15 septembre. So, resolution to amend accounts payable approval September 15, 2025. Ms. Parker.
Whereas on September 15, 2025, Council approved the following resolution that the accounts payable totals, including payroll, for the month of August 2025 be approved as follows. Operating $960,722, capital $921,692 for a total of I'm having a blank. $4,506,825, and whereas it has since been determined that the total amount was recorded in error, now therefore be resolved that the resolution passed on September 15, 2025 be amended to reflect the correct totals as follows. Operating $960,722, capital $921,692 for a total of $3,506,825.
All right, I'll need someone to move. Deputy Mayor Knowles, seconded by Councillor Legacy. Did we want to add to that, Ms. Parker, before we go to the vote?
So the reason there was an error in the total amount, it was found after the resolution was done that it was in the salary. There was a typo there that was corrected, and that's why we're doing this resolution tonight to correct what we had passed at the previous regular public meeting.
All right, any questions? Okay. So all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Opposed? Motion carried. On va demande de financement 7.2. So application for financing 7.2, Ms. Parker.
Whereas the City of Bathurst has received authorization by the Municipal Capital Borrowing Board to obtain funding for capital expenses by way of loan or by the issue or sale of debentures to the New Brunswick Municipal Finance Corporation for an amount not exceeding $808,000. Now therefore be it resolved that the Treasurer and Mayor be authorized to issue and sell to the New Brunswick Municipal Finance Corporation, a municipality of the City of Bathurst debenture in the principal amount of $808,000 on such terms and conditions as are recommended by the New Brunswick Finance Corporation, and be it further resolved that the municipality of the City of Bathurst agrees to issue post-dated checks payable to the New Brunswick Municipal Finance Corporation as and when they are requested in payment of principal and interest charges on the above debenture as authorized by a vote of the Council of said municipality of the City of Bathurst at the regular public meeting of October 6, 2025. Application for financing, General Fund, Ministerial Order Number MO22-0058, dated August 22nd, 2022. Date of Council's resolution authorizing the application, January 17th, 2022. Purpose by function, transportation services, for the amount of $518,000 for a term of 10 years. Ministerial Order Number MO23-0002, January 9th, 2023. Authorized by resolution of council November 21st, 2022 for protective services for $70,000 for 5 years. Ministerial Order Number MO23-002, January 9, 2023. Date of council's resolution November 21st, 2022 for protective services again for another $70,000 for 5 years for a total of $658,000. Under Utility Fund, Ministerial Order Number MO23002. Date of ministerial order, January 9, 2023. Date of council's resolution, authorizing the application, November 21st, 2022. Purpose by function, environmental health services, amount being $150,000 for a term of 10 years for a total debenture request of $808,000.
All right, I'll need someone to move in second. Councillor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Branch. Do we have any questions? All right, so we'll go to the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. On va à l'arrêté municipal. L'amendement proposé de l'arrêté de zonage, dont la troisième lecture de l'arrêté 2025-07Z. So the proposed bylaw amendment. So the third reading of bylaw 2025-07Z. Ms. Parker.
That bylaw 2025-07Z, entitled A Bylaw to Amend Bylaw 2008-01, entitled The City of Bathurst Zoning Bylaw, be read for the third time by title.
All right, I'll need someone to, we have a question. So what I'll do is yes, all right. So may I have someone to move and someone to second? Councillor Legacy, seconded by Councillor Branch. We'll go to the questions. Councillor Burnett.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. To the planning department, last meeting I asked for clarification on this one, and I didn't like the answer. If somebody has a house that burns down and they want to rebuild with this bylaw, they can't build on the same foundation. They can't build in the same location. And if they want to, and if it's closer than any of the regulations that we're putting in place tonight, it has to go to planning advisory. There's enough turmoil by losing your house if something happens like that, or a storm or whatever the case may be. But to not be able to rebuild where you were like 20, 25 years or 30 years, that could be rather difficult and upsetting. And in certain cases, maybe not possible because of the size of the lot or whatever. So could I have clarification on that again? Is that the way it really ends up, that you can't build again if you have a tragedy in your home because of this bylaw?
All right, Monsieur Laplante, est-ce que je peux aller à Monsieur? Oui, okay.
Okay, good question. So the bylaw, the zoning bylaw, define a set of development standards about how to develop your land, any land. So it contains setback requirements, distance from the street, height of building, etc., size of the lot. So if a building under the Community Planning Act, this is not something under the municipal regulation, under zoning bylaw. Under the Community Planning Act, that is the provincial legislation, a non-conforming use. If a building is non-conforming, suppose, I'll give you an example. The setback requirement is 6 meters from the street. What you're talking about, it's an existing house that could be built at 3 meters. So this is less than the minimum requirement. So legally, this is what we call a legal non-conforming use. It has a right to remain there. But under the Planning Act, if a building is destroyed more than 50% of its value, if the use ceases for 10 months, then the building loses its acquired rights. And any future developments must comply with the development standards set in your zoning bylaw. So the easy way, I know it may, so the common practice, if I may say, the common practice will be if someone wants to rebuild at the same location that is less than the required setback, the only option is to apply to the Planning Advisory Committee for a variance. The Planning Advisory Committee has a right to grant a variance to reallow the construction on the same foundation. But the intent of the act is not just in Bathurst, is any communities. If a non-conforming use is demolished, removed, or destroyed, then as much as possible, we want the new building to meet the requirements of the zoning. But if the owner really wants to rebuild where it used to be, that is less than the required setback, then the only option is to go to the Planning Advisory Committee. This is one purpose. This is one main purpose of the Planning Advisory Committee to review each application on a case by case basis, and if it makes sense, then the Planning Advisory Committee may reallow the construction. But sometimes you want a non-conforming use to move. For example, if the city is planning the enlargement of a street, for example, and the building is removed, then you want to take this opportunity to ask the owner to build, to meet the requirements of the zoning bylaw. So again, it's twofold. Sometimes we may ask the developer or the owner to comply, but sometimes if he wants to go less than the required setback or any provision in the zoning bylaw, this is the raison d'être, if you want, of the Planning Advisory Committee to grant those type of variants.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, but I don't agree with it. And I don't agree with the 10-month period either, because by the time you get your insurance and get everything settled and get your plans made again, sometimes it takes a lot more than 10 months. No. So I will be voting against this tonight.
Okay.
But again, just to be clear, those provisions are not in the municipal regulation. They are in the provincial legislation.
Yes, so this applies for across the province, not just Bathurst.
It's about non-conforming use. In the Community Planning Act, there is a section about non-conforming use. Yeah. The rights, they have the right to be protected, but also, there are limitations and there are some rights. But it's in the provincial piece of legislation.
All right. Okay. Councillor Branch?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just for clarity too, like the 10 months would be to obtain a building permit.
No, okay, first, a non-conforming use. It's a use that is not in conformity with a provision of the zoning bylaw. There are provision in the act that a non-conforming use is protected under the act if it was legally built, but there are mechanisms in the act that it may lose its acquired rights if it burns, if the use is discontinued for more than 10 months. So it has nothing to do with insurance. Suppose you have a restaurant, let's say a commercial use in a residential zone. Okay, suppose for some reason council decide to rezone the property rezone it to residential, and the restaurant is not a permitted use. But the restaurant was there for, let's say, 10 years. But if the use is discontinued for more than 10 months under the Community Planning Act, the property lose its non-conforming rights, and they have to operate under the current zoning bylaw. And again, this is a provision of the Community Planning Act.
Thank you.
So we'll go to the question. So all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contraminded, nay. Nay. All right. Motion carried. (8.2) Constitution de la composition du Conseil municipal et la détermination du système de gouvernance locale de la ville de Bathurst. Troisième lecture de l'arrêté 2025-05. Establishing the composition of council and determining the local governance system for the city of Bathurst. Third reading of bylaw 2025-05. Ms. Parker.
That bylaw 2025-05, entitled Establishing the Composition of Council and Determining the Local Governance System of the City of Bathurst, be read for the third time by title.
All right, I'll need someone to move. Councillor Willett, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Ready for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose. Motion carried. On va aller à 9.1, T003-25, fourgonnette électrique avec nacelle élévatrice. So T003-25, electrical van with aerial lift. Ms. Parker.
That tender T003-25, electrical van with aerial lift, be awarded to Hathaway Limited of Bathurst, New Brunswick for a total of $155,873 plus tax.
All right, I'll need someone to move in second. Councillor Legacy. Councillor LeBlanc, do we have any questions? Councillor Willett.
Are we keeping the other vans? Because I see them working quite a bit in the past couple of days.
Monsieur Laplante.
Through to our fleet manager.
All right.
No, we're not keeping the van. It's, if you've seen it around town, you haven't been close enough to hear it first. It's 2006. There are holes through the floor. It's done.
Okay. All right. Next, we'll go to the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contre nay. Motion carried. On va à nomination d'un agent de contrôle des animaux. So appointment of animal control officer. Ms. Parker.
Whereas, pursuant to bylaw number 2012-04, a bylaw regulating the keeping and controlling of companion animals in the city of Bathurst, council is authorized to appoint an animal control officer, and that Tracy Collins is authorized, designated, and appointed to act for and on behalf of council in order to properly enforce bylaw number 2012-04, and that the said appointment continues as long as the said person remains employed with the Animal Shelter Bathurst Incorporated, or the appointment is limited, or that the appointment is limited or rescinded by council.
Right.
Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Bathurst City Council hereby appoints Tracy Collins as Animal Control Officer.
I was cutting you off. All right, I'll need someone to move. Councillor Hondas, seconded by Councillor Burnett. Ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose. Motion carried. I'm cutting corners here. 9.3. Résolution du Conseil en vue de modifier l'arrêté de zonage en vertu de l'article 111 de la loi sur l'urbanisme. Council resolution to amend a zoning bylaw pursuant to Section 111 of the Community Planning Act. Ms. Parker.
Whereas, the City of Bathurst proposes to amend bylaw number 2008-01, entitled the City of Bathurst Zoning Bylaw, as follows. Modify certain provisions of the zoning bylaw to address some inconsistencies. Be it resolved that 1. Bylaws amending the zoning bylaw be drafted for this purpose. 2. The city clerk, acting on behalf of the council, see that the public notice prescribed in Section 111 of the Community Planning Act is posted on the municipality's website to announce the council's intention, the day, and place for consideration of objections to the proposed bylaws. 3. That the council request in writing the written views of the Planning Advisory Committee on the proposed amendments, and 4, consideration of objections to the proposed bylaws take place at 6:30 p.m. on November 3rd, 2025 in the council chambers. 5, in accordance with subsection 114(1) of the Community Planning Act, development in the area affected by this proposed bylaw is prohibited until the bylaw becomes valid or fails to become valid.
All right, I'll need someone to move. Councillor Scary. No, I'll go to you afterwards. I'll get the move and the seconder. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Knowles. Monsieur Bouffard, je vous donne le micro. Ouais.
It's my mistake in the resolution. The intent, okay, I used the previous resolution, but the intent of this rezoning is to allow a mini home to be developed on Roy's Lane. Okay, the notice, I think it's is to allow the development of a mini home on the property located at 1058 Roy Lane and bearing PID 20931325. In your package, you have the report. You have the full report about this project. So it's not the inconsistencies is the rezoning, the one we just did today, the amendments that was adopted. But again, I overlooked the resolution. Sometimes you use the previous one, but the intent of this rezoning is to allow a mini home to be developed on the property located at 1058 Roy's Lane, as mentioned in the header.
Yeah.
Again, in the report, it's well defined, and again, in the under the zoning bylaw, a mini home is not a permitted use in the R2 zone.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the property has to be rezoned to for a spot zoning for this specific project. So I'm sorry for my typo. Yeah. So again, it's for a specific project being a mini home on this property.
All right. So Ms. Parker, we're good with the resolution?
As long as it's through that.
Yep. Yep. Perfect. Okay.
Sorry.
Nope, that's okay. Conseiller Leblanc?
Moi, je me demandais juste, mais faudrait-tu pas réécrire la question?
We're changing it in the minute.
Oui.
OK.
Oui.
All right. C'est juste ça, vous l'avez.
La résolution est faite, mais ils sont en train de le changer dans les minutes qui apparaîtront. Yeah.
C'est bon, merci.
Ça vous va? OK. Questions? No? All right. On va aller à la question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carried. Bon, item de information. So, Ms. Parker, do we have any reports from administration?
There were no reports from administration or committees.
Perfect. Quickly, mayor report. I'll do one at our next public meeting, but I had the opportunity to go to a conference and the AGM in St. John for Union of Municipalities, and quite a few councillors was there with us. And Councillor LeBlanc actually sits as treasurer at the UMNB. It was very interesting because they represent 60 municipalities in the province of New Brunswick. Very interactive, a lot of workshops that were provided for us, and an opportunity for mayor and council to really discuss with other councillors and mayor and see, what obstacles are they facing and how things are operating. And what was really good, and I have to say that as we were walking through the conference and meeting people and meeting mayors, people would stop and say, "Oh, we're hearing great things about Bathurst. Ça bouge à Bathurst. Hey, ça va bien à Bathurst." So let me tell you, we had a smile in council. We were walking proud because we've been working hard, and yes, it's going extremely well. But a big thank you to Union of Municipalities for the work that they do and advocating as municipalities at the provincial level and the federal level. And they're actually in the process of creating a video that they're going to put out their event before the municipal election coming into play. So it was very, very good. And on an ending note, while we were there Saturday evening after the banquet, we were told that there was 600 Mrs. Roper. 600 ladies and gentlemen dressed as Mrs. Roper. And again, they were doing fundraising for the Breast Cancer Society. And they raised $22,000 in St. John for that event. And it was great. We were able to take pictures with many of them. It was beautiful to see hundreds of them all together. And it was a very, very nice weekend. That's why I've lost my voice. We'll go to the adjournment of the meeting. Ms. Parker.
That the regular public meeting be adjourned at 7:05 p.m.
All right, I'll need someone to move. Councillor Honda, seconded by Councillor Legacy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Oppose. Motion carried. Merci d'être avec nous ce soir. Bonne soirée et bonne longue fin de semaine. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.